Fade in. Interior, ward salon for pregnant and lactating mothers. Prison cell, night. The door of the hall closes. The sound of Panah, an 8-month-old baby, is heard crying. Inside the cell, there are 2 bunk beds. A woman is lying down on the top bed. Another woman is breastfeeding her baby. Sayara, a 42-year-old woman, is lying down next to Panah. Panah is still crying. Sayara shows no reaction. After a few seconds, Sayara, with horror, puts her hands near Panah's neck. A 35-year-old woman who is 6 months pregnant is in the top bunk. She looks at Sayara.
Sayara?
Sayara is afraid and pulls her hands back. The young woman immediately gets out of her bed and picks up and hugs Panah. Sayara is dazed and stares at the young woman. The young woman takes Panah out of the cell and walks in the ward hall and tries to calm her. Several other women walk with their babies in the ward hall and they try to calm them. A 1.5-year-old boy is playing. His mother sits next to him and closes her eyes for a nap. A young woman is holding a textbook and puts her child on her feet and studies at the same time and shakes her feet so that her child sleeps.
School hall day. Students are taking an exam. Hannah, a 17-year-old girl, is also among students and is writing answers to the questions. The teacher, who is a young girl, walks slowly and checks students. Hannah reviews her answers on the paper, then she asks the teacher to let her know that she is done and wants to leave. The teacher checks her watch and points out that she cannot go. Hannah tries to tell her that she's in a hurry. The teacher refuses and points out to Hannah that she has to wait. Hannah gets upset and puts her head on the chair. Interior prison meeting room day. Hannah and Sayara are standing next to the table. Sayara looks at Hannah for a few seconds and kisses Hannah and gives her to Hannah. Sayara smiles bitterly and picks up the bag from the table and gives it to Hannah. Exterior prison yard day. Hannah holds Hannah tightly in her arms and walks with discomfort and stress. Bahman, a 65-year-old man, is walking next to her. There is a paper and a bag in Bahman's hands.
Interior, home, day. The home is messy. Washed clothes of Panah are spread out on the sofas. Hannah lies down on the ground and draws with pastels. Panah is sleeping next to her. An empty milk bottle is next to Panah. Suddenly, Panah wakes up crying. Interior, school hall, day. Hannah, who is sleeping on a chair, suddenly wakes up and picks up her head from the chair. She looks sleepy. She notices that the students are giving their exam papers to the teacher. She stands up hurriedly, and the exam paper falls a little further onto the ground. She quickly picks up the paper and gives it to the teacher, and leaves the hall quickly. Interior, prison cell, day. Sayara is sitting on the bed, and there is a bottle and a small dish in front of her. She is taking milk from her breast. Sayara pours the milk into a bottle and puts it on the bed, and gets up. A woman is sleeping on a bed. Her baby son is sleeping next to her.
Interior prison guard room day. The room is almost small. There are a few small vases in the room. Hannah talks to a middle-aged woman. She breathes fast.
Hi, Miss Mirzakhani.
Hi. All right, honey. Relax. Take a break, then breathe.
Hannah takes a deep breath and waits for a second.
But
Yes, I know you left your sister at your uncle's house. It's okay.
Hannah smiles.
Well, honey, sit down. I'm calling Miss Bonnie to take the bottle from your mom. She's pretty busy right now. It takes a while.
okay, thanks.
Interior room night. Hannah lies down on the bed next to Panah. The painting notebook is in the hands of Hannah. Hannah shows the paintings to Panah. The painting is a modern kitchen with all the utensils.
Here is the kitchen. Mom is cooking delicious cake for us. We are waiting for the cake to eat it with tea. Then Mom makes us a delicious pizza.
Hannah flips the next page. The painting is a child's room with a lot of toys. A photo frame of a middle-aged man is also drawn.
After we ate pizza, you go to bed. I also put a picture of Daddy in front of the bed so that you can see him. Look, Panah, you got so many toys.
Hana closes the notebook. Hana gets closer to Pana and talks close to her ears.
Next month, when Mom is back, we'll try to rebuild our life and we'll buy you a lot of toys. I promise you.
Hana looks at Pana and notices that she is asleep. Hana kisses Pana. Hana puts the painting notebook on top of her head and sleeps.
Interior. Prison meeting room. Day. Hana and Sayara are sitting at the table. A bottle of milk is next to Hana. Hana is taking Sayara's hands and painting her nails with green nail polish.
How's Pana doing?
If her mother is good, she is good.
Hana points to the color of the nail polish.
Do you like the color?
Oh, yeah. So much so.
Hana smiles.
Mahan bought it for me.
He is a good boy. It's good that he loves you.
Hana smiles. Exterior. Hideaway sidewalk underpass. Day. It has rained heavily and a lot of water has accumulated in the underpass. Hana and Mahan, a 17-year-old boy, are walking on the sidewalk. Pana is in the arms of Mahan. Several cars are passing by on deep, standing water and soak Hana and Mahan. Hana and Mahan protect Pana with their hands so that Pana does not get wet. They laugh and run.
Exterior, sidewalk, day. The sidewalk is almost crowded. A middle-aged man holds a 1-meter length mirror in his hands and walks on the sidewalk. Hana walks behind the man. The image of Hana's feet can be seen in the mirror. Hana is eating cake and she is looking for a job with her phone. A young girl is handing out flyers. The young girl gives the last flyer to Hana. Hana takes the flyer. The young girl goes to the street. Hana looks at the flyer for a few seconds. The young girl crosses the street. Hana looks at the flyer for a few seconds to go toward the street quickly and calls to the young girl.
Miss! Miss!
The young girl does not notice. Hana whistles with her hands. The young girl notices and looks at Hana. Exterior, sidewalk, night. The sidewalk is crowded. The sound of happy and loud music comes from the entrance of a store. Many men and women sell wares on the sidewalk. A young girl is playing happy music with her instrument. Several people have gathered around her. A young woman is loudly advertising baby clothes. Hana is distributing flyers. Some pedestrians ignore Hana, pass by her, and do not take flyers. Some take a flyer. Next to Hana, a young woman is talking on her cell phone. The young woman speaks angrily. Her little girl is standing next to her. The little girl with long hair dances to the happy music played by the musician girl on the street. Hana looks at the little girl dancing with a smile on her face. Hana gives the last flyer to a passerby and goes to the middle-aged man who has a toy store. Hana buys a toy.
Exterior. Bus terminal. Street. Day. Hana enters the bus terminal. She dials several times with her mobile phone, but nobody answers. She goes to the terminal office. Several middle-aged and young men are standing outside of the office and they are talking.
Where can I find Mr. Farhadi?
A middle-aged man points to the front of the bus. That bus. Hana looks behind her. Bahman is going to drive and wants to move. Hana goes to the bus quickly. Hana gets on the back of the bus. Bahman does not realize that Hana is there and closes the doors. Hana falls between the doors. Hana immediately knocks on the door and the door opens. What are you doing, girl? Hana goes to the driver.
Uncle, I got a job. Let me take Pana.
You said that now is the time for exams and you cannot go to work.
Yes, but I noticed that you are in difficulty and you are preparing for Nushan's wedding. I decided to go to work now.
Some passengers are getting frustrated and asking Bahman to turn on the bus and start to move. They take better care of her in welfare.
Pana has a mother. She has a sister. Why should she go to welfare? When my mom is going to be released from prison, why should I take Pana to...
It is not clear when your mother will be released. The plaintiffs still do not consent. They just said we might let her out to provide money for us.
I'm sure she will be released.
Hana looks at a young boy sitting in a chair behind Bahman and listening to them. Does the job you found provide her diapers costs, or you want to give her less food so that she defecates less? Hana gets upset and turns her face. A man and a woman ask Bahman to move. Okay, go home. We'll talk at night.
Hana gets off the bus and goes behind the bus. Mahan stands with a little distance. Pana is in the arms of Mahan. Pana cries a little.
Did he agree?
I do not know.
Don't worry. I'll talk to him.
No, do not say anything. I do not want them to realize our relationship.
Is that wrong?
You know better. They will think badly of me, especially your mom. Then they will force me to go to Gunbat, to my grandmother.
Pana cries.
Forget these words. They finally accept. Let's calm Pana now.
Pana gets the bottle from the bag. She tries to open the bottle. The lid drops from her hand and falls to the ground. Pana hurries to get the lid. Suddenly, the bus backs up and hits Mahan and Pana. Hana turns around and realizes that Mahan and Pana have gone under the bus. She is shocked and screams. Hana knocks hard on the door of the bus and hurries to the driver. In shock, she looks at Mahan with fear for a few seconds.
Why haven't you gone yet?
Uncle, Pana and Mahan.
What do you say? What is Mahan doing here?
Hana screams. Many people have gathered around the bus. A young woman calls for an ambulance with her cell phone. Hana is still screaming and asking Baman to save Pana and Mahan. Several women talk to Hana and try to keep her off the bus. Baman cries and does not know what to do. Baman's colleagues try to keep him off the bus. Hana and Baman want to get under the bus, but several people stop them. Several people try to get Pana and Mahan out from under the bus. Some do not allow it and say they have to wait until the emergency arrives. Interior, room, night. Pana is dressed in black. She is picking up Pana's belongings and clothes. She puts Pana's clothes in the bag. The painting notebook is in front of Pana, and Pana is looking at the paintings. Pana gets close to Pana and picks up the drawing notebook and angrily tears the pages.
Exterior, street, day. Hana is sitting next to a car on a concrete block. Hana tilts her head and occasionally looks at the entrance of the welfare building. After a few minutes, Hana tilts her head and sees Bahman. Bahman, dressed in black, gets out of the car. Pana is in the arms of Bahman. Bahman gets Pana's bag from inside of the car and goes to the entrance of the welfare building. Exterior, bridge, day, continued. Hana sits uncomfortably on the bridge edge and watches the city. Hana's cell phone rings.
Yes.
Hana, I have great news for you. Today, Mr. Kawastami came and agreed. I will be released tomorrow, and I will come out.
Hana gets up and cries happily. The image turns white. The sound of cars passing by can be heard. The title and credits come up. Hana's mobile phone rings.
Yes.
Hi, madam. Did you have a ticket for Gonabad?
Yes.
When do you get to the terminal?
Sir, I will not come. Cancel my ticket.
The end.